Mobile water, unique in every way.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
City
News.
This is the Election Bureau. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Citi Prime News. We're coming to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Ajua Tinkrama. Domina, coming up this afternoon, battle for 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections heat up in various constituencies as the NPP in the Eastern region remains confident of their win. Meanwhile, the NDC flag bearer John Mahama is assuring of prioritizing affordable healthcare ahead of the polls. We'll hit the campaign trail later and keep you updated on what the other parties are up to in the various regions. Also coming up in the bulletin, Ghana Trade Fair Company debunks claims of political witch hunting in demolition of various structures as it reviews a new master plan to revamp the facility. Still in the bulletin, we'll bring you a story about the institutional suppliers serving notice of picketing at the premises of the Education Ministry from next week over debt owed them. And later, we'll bring you a wrap of campaign activities from the various political parties in the Ashanti region. Stay with us for details of these and more stories coming your way in the next 30 minutes. Remember, this news is live across the globe on citynewsroom.com. Around the country, we are live on a number of affiliate stations. If you're listening to us from the Western region, you can find us on Adrimpa 100.7 FM in Takwa Beach, 105.5 FM in Takrade. In the Bunu region, we are on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyang. In the Ashanti region, you can find us on Adrimpa 99.9 FM in Nkarie. In the Volta region, this is Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohoi, Freedom 88.1 FM in Sogakope. If you're in the Northern region, tune into Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Saboba. In Upper East, this is Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. And in the Northeast region, this is Nobia 98.1 FM in Nalerigu. Please stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
We're grateful for your company this afternoon. Let's begin with some political stories as Ghana heads to the polls in 24 days now, with a few weeks left to the December elections. Political parties are ramping up campaigns across key communities in the Ashanti region, seeking to sway voters in a region that plays a critical role in Ghana's political landscape. Now, in this report, City News' Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani speaks to representatives from major political parties about their strategies to target voters in the region.
The Ashanti region boasts a rich political history and has consistently played a pivotal role in determining outcomes of past elections. This year's election is no different, as major political parties are focusing resources and efforts on securing some gains in the region. In this report, we analyze the trends ahead of the December polls.
Known for its historical, cultural, and political significance, the Ashanti region has 43 administrative districts and 47 constituencies, traditionally serving as a stronghold for the New Patriotic Party. The party continues to dominate major constituencies like Bantama, Askwa, Kwadaso, Kwabi East, Suame, and Bekwai. Confident in their support base, MPP representatives express optimism about securing even more votes in the Ashanti region this December.
So I personally believe that whatever is due this region, the party and the government is doing it. And I personally believe that the region will also replicate. We would also thank the government.
Concerns around road infrastructure and stalled projects have raised fears of potential voter apathy in the region. While acknowledging some gaps in its delivery, the MPP defends its record of bringing development to the region and remains confident in its stronghold.
Apathy, we will see how best we can reduce apathy to the barest minimum. We cannot erase apathy. Even if one particular person is peeved, still we have to get to the person, talk to the person.
The National Democratic Congress, NDC, while more discreet about its strategies, is focused on gaining additional parliamentary seats beyond the 4 it currently holds.
And I hear the MPP talking about 85 and 80% for them. I'm daring them. They will even struggle to cross 62% in Ashanti region. Their best ever percentage as MPP was under Akufo in 2004. He recorded 76.97%. Akufo-Addo comes next in 2016. He recorded 76.27%. So if Napo comes and says that he's going to get 80%, 85%, we realize which books are they reading, and we are going to snatch a lot of these seats. I may not focus on 1 or 2 or 3, but I'm saying that of the 43 seats that we do not have, we're going to snatch most of them.
This year, new political movements are also challenging the dominance of both MPP and NDC in the Ashanti region. The new force, led by entrepreneur Nana Kwame Bediako, popularly known as Cheddar, and the Movement for Change, led by former MPP member Alan Tremantin, are making concerted efforts to penetrate the region.
Because we have 2 main aims to achieve it. Either to win this election, and that one, at least we are selling our goals and objectives. If not winning, we have to prove to everybody Alan is a popular politician. All that to bring this election to a second round. So we have 2 objectives: to win or to bring this election to a second round. So that
Which one do you prefer?
the win. If not, that bringing this election to a second round is a second option.
Ashanti region, in fact, to me, I am in the Yesu constituency, and I followed the leader, Nana Bediako Cheddar, to some of the constituencies before I got back to my constituency. And looking at how people followed him, people received him, I can say this year election, 2024 elections, will be a very different one. Nana Kwame will make a big difference in the Ashanti regional elections.
Political historian Professor Edu Jemfi of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology cast doubt on the MPP's target of securing 85% of votes in the Ashanti region, calling it unscientific.
But 85%, it will never be possible unless there are some machinations behind the scenes. It will be totally unscientific. This new movement for change will take something away from the MPP. Again, it's even further contemplated and anticipated that the new force will take something from the MPP and also from the NDC.
However, he suggests that the MPP's presidential candidate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, could have an advantage in the event of a runoff.
And I'm sure that the NDC is not assuming that they have won the elections because we are in the 8th year. They must roll their sleeves and make sure that these few days ahead of us toward the election, they cross their T's and dot their I's. I tell you this. If Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is able to push these elections to a runoff, he's likely to win and become the next president. The NDC should not assume that it is given.
With Ashanti region's pivotal role in previous election outcomes, the stakes are high as major parties and new political forces focus resources on this key area, hoping to secure substantial gains in this year's election.
The Ashanti region will undoubtedly play a role in determining the outcome of this year's election. This has been your election bureau. My name is Hafiz Tijani for Citi News.
I will stay in the Ashanti region and go live there and speak to my colleague Hansen Ajiman, who is following the NPP's campaign trail. Hansen, good afternoon. Thank you for your time. We understand the NPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, is in the Juraseche Dumase. What has he been doing today?
The NPP flag bearer, as usual, has held the stakeholder engagement with chiefs, pastors, imams, and leaders of the Muslim community in the Juraseche Dumase constituency. As you may be aware, the Juraseche Dumase constituency is one of the green belts in the Ashanti region. As far as the presidential election is concerned, the NDC has consistently won the presidential election in this constituency, despite the Ashanti region being a stronghold of the NPP. On the parliamentary election, on the other hand, the NDC also has maintained dominance, winning about 4 of the elections, while the NPP has just won twice in this constituency. And so Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia's team strategizing that the Ashanti region is a key tool for the 2024 election. It's important that they engage voters in constituencies like this to make sure that they're able to improve upon their performance in the Ashanti region. So here at Juraseche Dumase, Dr. Bawumia, he's been aligning his policies to them. The constituency being a farming community with portions specializing in beans production, Dr. Bawumia assured them that his number one priority as president will be the agricultural sector, where he aligned series of policies he'll be implementing to ensure that agriculture really blossom under his leadership.
Now tell us the response of constituents to all the things the NPP flag bearer has been saying so far during his tour.
Well, it's one of good acceptance from constituents and mainly party people who've come around to see the flag bearer one and to hear from him. I had a conversation with one farmer who indicated that indeed they face a lot of challenges in their farming with respect to access to farming inputs, access to fertilizer, and a host of others. And Dr. Bawumia is promising to create the district agri mechanization project where they can source these inputs readily and at affordable prices, and really that is a good one for them. They also say that the NPP government has performed creditably well with respect to their roads and other infrastructure. And so for the persons who are here, we've spoken to, they have given the indication that no doubt they will vote for the NPP and also try as much as possible to convince friends and families to vote for the NPP flag bearer.
Right. Lastly and briefly, before I let you go, where next is he hitting on the campaign trail?
So he's done with the stakeholder dialogue at Juraseche Dumase. He's going for the community connect, which is a specific interaction with party people in Juraseche Dumase, and then he will later head to Mampong for a similar engagement as part of today's tour.
Very well. Thank you so much. That's my colleague Hansen Ajima reporting to us from the Ashanti region on the NPP's campaign trail. Let's stay with the new patriotic party, this time in the Suame constituency, because the party says it remains confident of its chances in the upcoming 2024 elections despite recent happenings. This follows a decision by the incumbent MP Kwadwo Asante to contest as an independent candidate, departing from the party. Now, Kwadwo Asante, who lost the NPP primaries to Frank Esiedu-Bekoe, opted to run as an independent candidate, sparking concerns about a potential split in the NPP's vote. Now, in an interview with Citi News on the constituency current affairs program, Suame NPP constituency secretary Stephen Asupa Odame asserted that despite Kwadwo Asante's departure, the party will still win the parliamentary elections come December 7.
What that he's doing, yes, it will have an effect. And as I said that, the margin of the effect is what we think he will not be able to prevent us our win. Of course, he will have an effect. That one, I'll be naive to say that it will not have any effect. It will. But the effect eventually inure to the eventually we win. That's all that we are interested for now. But the margin will be the difference. Because maybe the margin we use the other time may differ this time around. Independent activity in constituency before, it started 2008, 2012. All could not yield any results because the party has a good way here. If you look at the votes from 2020 up to 2000 up to now, you can see that incrementally, always where the MPP vote appreciate. For the other one, the immediate one, then the gap between MPP and NDC in the parliamentary, what about 15,000? And he can tell you that the MPP is solid on the ground here. Yes, you can make a vote of pushing some, but eventually we will make the winner. That one is an assurance.
We stay in the Suame constituency because Stephen Asupa Odame still calls for a review of the NPP's constitution to prevent instances where members who resigned from the party to run as independent candidates return to the party.
From the party position, I personally have a difficulty with. Perhaps it is how the party has treated successive ones. That is what gives those people the motivation to engage in their own activities. Because you can talk about Nkoko, Bekwai, Fomina. Because when they go to parliament, they are treated with kid gloves. And therefore, people see that there's a motivation. Maybe it is time the party sat down to revisit the rules so that people do not take advantage. All that those people are doing is to taking advantage of the norms in parliament and try to tame the party in that order. And that's what we think. Because there's a motivation. People did, and they had the good positions elsewhere. Then they will also be motivated to do that. But I believe, and I think after this election, we'll go back to the drawing table and really take a second look at it. And that's my proposal to the rank and file of the party.
So that's the Suame NPP Constituency Secretary Stephen Asupa Odame. He spoke on the constituency. This is a current affairs program that airs on Channel 1 TV every Tuesday. Do well to tune in. You're still listening to the Citi Prime News. When we return, NDC flag bearer John Mahama shows of prioritizing affordable healthcare ahead of the polls. We'll bring you that plus other stories. Please stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV, telling your story, empowering change.
You're welcome back to the bulletin. Let's stay on politics. And NDC flag bearer John Mahama has promised to recruit community health volunteers across the country to conduct house-to-house visits and monitor the health of individuals. According to Mr. Mahama, this initiative will help detect and address minor health issues before they develop into more serious complications. Now, he stressed that the move is part of his broader commitment to improving healthcare access and outcomes across the country.
We're going to have community health volunteers in every community, and they'll go from house to house to talk to our people about their health and also identify any health issues like breast cancer, like other cervical cancers and others, so that they can make a quick referral to the nearest health facility. Many Ghanaians, the initiative aims to expand access and prevent minor illnesses from escalating into severe health issues that require costly hospital treatment. In addition, we'll launch the Ghana Medical Care Trust, also known as Mahama Cares, to support the management of chronic diseases such as kidney disease, diabetes, cancer, hypertension, sickle cell, and sickle cell diseases. This is going to be a trust into which dedicated funds will be put, and that there will be funding from other sources, including private institutions.
So that's John Dramani Mahama. He's flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress. Meanwhile, he's expected to meet chiefs and supporters in the Western region as part of his campaign tour. While his running mate, Professor Nana Jinopokwajiman, is expected to tour the Northeast and Savannah regions. We're bringing you some more stories now. The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Trade Fair Company Limited, Dr. Agnes Edu, has debunked assertions that the demolition embarked on in 2020 at the site was a political witch hunt. Now, several companies who had businesses at the Trade Fair Company's land faced demolition and eviction over plans by the company to redevelop the land, while insisting they gave a 6-month notification, enough to initiate a forced eviction. Dr. Agnes Edu says there was no political motivation for this exercise.
Now, that argument will hold true if today you came here and there's people in this government that are supportive to this government are still here, and then the people who are in the opposition government are gone, right? No one is left here.
So did you pack everybody out?
Every single human being.
Doesn't mean there wasn't one tenant who was doing what they had to?
Not one.
All of them?
Every single one.
But they were the ones who were keeping the place alive.
Now, the company, let me go back a little bit. The company and its board of directors decided that the site needs to be redeveloped. And I want to emphasize this, right? There were no credible facilities, modern facilities, that you can actually hold a convention of, let's say, 500 pharmacists, right? Okay. There was none. There was a shed, maybe 2 sheds, open on both sides. When it rains, it's coming inside. It's a mess. So the company decided that it needs to be overhauled, right? There's not one single building that a convention can take place. So all the 1967 buildings that have broken down, it had already been broken down. What was here was actually individual people have put up block, have put up container businesses, things like that. All that needed to be cleared, and then a new master plan has been put in place.
Well, Dr. Agnes Edu is still insisting that tenants on the land were being delinquent and rendering the state-owned enterprise profitless.
Before 2017, I explained exactly what existed here. The previous administration had a CEO sitting here. There was staff here. There were tenants, right, who came in, rented space with a tenancy agreement that spelled out exactly what you do. You pay rent for a year, then you renew. If the company decides to renew, you renew. If not, you go. That system had broken down for many years, right? You don't have electricity coming into the place because the tenant has decided he's not going to pay you rent.
So there was no electricity?
Exactly, because the tenant uses the electricity and doesn't pay for it, right? So it came to a point where the so-called tenant that your revenue depends on, he is delinquent or she is delinquent. So the system has broken down. So what I came to meet and had to fix immediately was return to the commercial model that the company was built on, which is you lease space or you lease a building or you lease a room, whatever it is, your revenue is coming from that tenant. So when that tenant becomes delinquent and your business cannot run, that tenant ought to be evicted. So I came in to actually clean up that system and return the company to basics, right? What is our core mandate? What is the commercial value that we need to unearth? And then where do we take the center?
But you need those tenants, or you needed those tenants.
You need good paying tenants, not delinquent tenants.
So that's the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Trade Fair Company Limited, Dr. Agnes Edu, speaking on Face-to-Face with Umaru Sanda Amadou. Let's bring you some more stories. Now, members of the National Institutional Suppliers have served notice to picket at the Ministry of Education on November 20 due to the failure of the government to pay them their arrears for the 2023-2024 academic year. According to the school uniform suppliers, although they have diligently fulfilled their obligations by producing and delivering uniforms for schools across the country, the government is yet to make full payment for their services. Now, this delay in payment from the government, they say, is putting immense pressure or financial burden on their members who have had to incur significant costs to meet production demands, maintaining that their equipment and to pay employees. Hence, this decision to picket next week. Emmanuel Ivor has been speaking to us on the issue at hand. Well, but we'll bring you that audio in our subsequent bulletins. But for now, with Ghana's general elections just weeks away, a constitutional dispute in Parliament has reached a critical point following Speaker Alban Bagben's declaration of 4 seats as vacant and a subsequent Supreme Court intervention. Now, this move has left critical government business on hold, raising questions about whether an 11th hour push for dialogue between the majority and minority caucuses can resolve the standoff in time. The following report by Citi News' Ni Ayikwe Okai has more details.
Alban Bagben's declaration of 4 seats as vacant has stirred a constitutional debate and led to a Supreme Court intervention. On October 17, 2024, Speaker Bagben declared the seat vacant after 4 MPs announced the intentions to contest the December 2024 election either as independents or under the NPP party banner, arguing that this move contravened Article 97 of Ghana's Constitution, which mandates MPs to retain party loyalty or vacate their seats. The MPs affected by this decision were Peter Yaokwache Aka Amenfi Central, Andrew Amwakwesi Amafomina, Kojo Asante Suhum, and Cynthia Morrison Aguna West. The ruling sparked considerable controversy, with Majority Leader Alexander Penyamaken challenging Bagben's authority on the issue. The Supreme Court subsequently stayed the Speaker's declaration, ruling it unconstitutional, preserving the MP's seat until further court decisions.
By court, in a majority decision of 5-2, Lovelace Johnson JSC and Amadou Tanko JSC dissenting on the issue of jurisdiction, the plaintiff's action succeed. The full reasons and orders of the court shall be filed with the registrar by close of day tomorrow, 13th November 2024. This is the judgment of the court.
But is the Speaker, Alban Bagben, willing to adhere to the ruling by the Supreme Court?
The judgment of the court will set a lot of precedent. But don't forget, the law is that the Supreme Court can always differ from its earlier decision. That is the danger. So for a purpose, I can give a judgment and ruling to favor the situation. Tomorrow, I say, no, I disagree with that. And that is permitted by law. So when you tell me that, it means that the Supreme Court is supreme. And so when it orders, I must obey. When I know the same Supreme Court can disorder, you have to raise a question back.
Court. In an effort to resolve the standoff, Majority Leader Alexander Penyamaken has proposed dialogue with the Speaker and the minority caucus.
Several efforts were made by my good self and leading members of our party to engage Mr. Speaker, behind the scenes to avoid this. But he decided to express his opinion. We don't hold anything against him. We believe that he's expressed his view and we disagreed. We've come here. Even the court itself, 7 of them, 5 agreed with us. 2 of the view that, yes, though the matter has substance, but it should have gone to another forum. So that's the beauty of it. We would engage. It's time to engage. It's time to allow deeper reflection.
Could this call for dialogue at this stage be considered a late action, given that Ghana's general elections are just weeks away?
It's too late to say that you are sorry. After you've broken my heart. When I needed you to satisfy my soul. You turn your back and said.
The minority has stated it will resist any attempt to recall Parliament, viewing it as an abuse of parliamentary procedure. Neelante Vanderpoy, a member of the minority, has expressed a firm stance on boycotting parliamentary sessions as a caucus until after the elections, citing concerns over procedural abuses.
The ruling and the information that was given by the Speaker to the plenary on that day has not been waived. If judgment has been given by the Supreme Court, that judgment should be effected on the Speaker of Parliament, so that the Speaker of Parliament will come to the House. Because decisions affecting Parliament are taken in the House of Parliament and not in the Supreme Court. So, whatever decision the Supreme Court has said, whatever orders the Supreme Court has given, will be served on the Speaker.
All right.
And if the Speaker is so minded, he will come to the House and review his decision that he made.
You heard Odododio MP Nilante van der Poy, ending that report by City News' the Ayikwe Okai. And this is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studios in Adabraka, Accra. Please log on to citynewsroom.com for more stories. Also, follow us using the hashtag CityVerify, hashtag GhanaPost 2024, and hashtag Election Bureau for all your election-related stories. My name is Ajua Tinkra Madumna. Thank you for your company. Good afternoon.